Ko Reno Tirakatini.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker.
Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koutou I ngā rangatira huriroina I tō tātou whare, I roto I tēnei wiki o te reo Māori. Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to add my contribution at the second reading. Sir, I do also endorse the spirit of cooperation and collaboration that has been embodied in this bill, right from its beginnings and through the hard work of the te korowai, o te tai o Marokura, and all of the stakeholders that were involved in that process. Whilst I'm not a member of the committee, sir, as the member for Te Tai Tongarai, but I also have deep connections to Kaikoura through whakapapa, through Ngāti Kuri, and I've also been able to enjoy all the various aspects of fishing that there is that the whānau enjoys along that beautiful coastline.
I've enjoyed the products.
And my colleague here, Mr. Mallard, has enjoyed a good kai as well. And I'm happy to host my whanaunga, Calvin, anytime he wants to come down here, and we'll make sure he has a good hakari. But sir, this has been a collaborative approach from the community. I was pleased to be involved with Te Tai o Marokura, Te Korowai at its early stages back in, I think, 2005, when I was working for our own iwi and our fisheries. And so I'm familiar with a lot of the commercial stakeholders, the Paua Management Company and the cray management, or the lobster or cray management company, also the wet fish stakeholders, also the customary fisheries groups, and also the recreational groups. So definitely it's great to see this work come to fruition, and I know that the fisheries were just one of many stakeholders. We can add in the tourism industry, which is flourishing and has totally transformed the Kaikoura township over the last coming up to 30 years. And also the environmental groups, and of course the wider community. So, and that spirit of cooperation has flowed on, and I acknowledge the work of the local member, Colin King. Sad to be departing this house, but I'm sure I wish him well, and looking forward to his valedictory speech. But also that cooperation which flowed through to the select committee, and also the minister and his amendments, which he will be putting through at the committee of the whole house, sir. But yes, sir, this is a great initiative in terms of management measures on the marine environment, conservation and protection. I commend the committee for some very practical amendments that they've made, specifically the place names. And I acknowledge my colleague, Mr. Davis, who was able to, his abilities in te reo far exceed my own, but he gave a very thoughtful, helpful translations for the names. But the amendments that have been made to the names, which reflect more of the Ngai Tahu mita, or perhaps the Ngai Tahu way that they would phrase the certain place names, and those changes have been made and acknowledged in the bill. And that's quite appropriate, being that this is the Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori Language Week. Sir, I do also commend the work of the committee for adding greater specificity to the actual boundaries of the marine sanctuary, about the reserve areas, because they have, by being more specific, sir, it has protected my very secret mark for bluenose, which there are some really good fishing spots there, and I can, by adding greater specificity to the areas, it's very good for the actual local fishermen as well. So they know exactly where they can fish and where they are not allowed to fish. So it's great that they were able to hone in on those areas. Now, sir, much has been mentioned about the size and the unusual shape of the reserve area, and as we know, the Hikurangi Trench is one marvels really at the abundance of the aquatic life that is in such abundance through that trench. It's obviously a feeding area and a navigation area for the whales and many other aquatic life. And also the fact that the boundaries didn't include the sides of the trench or certain areas of the Hikurangi. And sir, I believe that's a good thing, because in certain instances there may be aquatic life or species which could actually be of benefit to New Zealand. And I say that only to the extent that I'm aware that in my past experience working in fisheries, that there are certain aquatic life, certain sea sponges which are unique to that area, and scientifically it's the research is ongoing, but scientifically they have shown unique properties, and one such property is cancer-fighting properties from certain sea sponges and other aquatic life. Well, in this instance it was a sea sponge. And so we don't want to necessarily close the door on what might aid research to aid the world. So, and I know that the NIWA organisation is doing a lot of research into understanding the particular sea sponge which comes from that particular part of the Kaikoura coast. It's the only place in the world where you can, where this particular sea sponge is found. And so we don't want to necessarily close the door on what might be very much groundbreaking research which are unique attributes found in this particular species of sea sponge. So I can understand to that extent that a complete reserve status for throughout all dimensions of the whole entire trench could indeed preclude what could be groundbreaking scientific discoveries. So, but sir, I'd also like to touch on the regional development opportunities which can, well, Kaikoura itself as a township is a great example of regional economic development. And we know the history of the whale watch and the in particular families of the Kaikoura hapu that were involved in establishing the whale watch business, and through the establishment of that business it's transformed the economy of that whole township. And I do acknowledge also the work of the late Honourable Kaikoura Horomia, because yes, there were 5 families that did mortgage their houses to actually set up that whale watch business, but it was the good work of the Honourable Kaikoura Horomia through the Community Employment Group.
And you know who helped a lot? The Minister of Regional Development at the time, Annette King, who gave the first grant. And the very good Minister of that time, the Honourable Annette King, who gave the first grant through the Community Employment Group, which gave the tautoko to actually get that whale watch business established. And so I do acknowledge that work which has aided in the regional economy. And of course, everyone in the Kaikoura community wants to protect their coastline, and they all support these measures. And just in closing, sir, I had a chat to a cousin of mine, and I said, "What do you reckon about this bill, cuz?" And he said to me, "This bill is a great bill," just paraphrasing his words, but he says, "Cuz, it saves our kaimoana." And we know how important the taiapure and the mātaitau measures are, which are contained in this bill, and that's going to really strengthen and protect and enhance the customary fisheries along the coast. And so we support that. And finally, sir, I hope that this piece of legislation is a model which we can apply around the country.
So if we can go up to the Taitokoro and further north to the Kermadec and apply the same marine management reserves there, all the best. Kia ora tātou.
I call Eugenie Sage.
E te mangai o te whare tēnā koe.